Hey guys, it's Colby with Shishelsky Creations, Laser Engraving, and SC Hat Company. Today, I'm trying to replicate the issues you guys are having with your RF lasers on Leatherette with the banding problem. OneLaser brought it up. I've seen it in the forums. I'm here to help solve it today. So I've got a sheet of Lone Star Leatherette in the laser right now. As you can see, I've run a couple of different sample engravings, starting off with my favorite setting here. This is what I use. This is 1000 millimeters per second, 65% power, and more importantly, 500 lines per inch, or 0.050 line interval. In the light here, you see no banding in that. I mean, that's a lot of engraving in this. No banding. Most important thing, super crisp detail on this 2.5 inch size patch. I ran another test, same settings, but I changed the frequency on the RF from the standard 20 kilohertz to 80 kilohertz. Now, initially, before I cleaned it, it was darker than the standard. But after I cleaned it, this one is not quite as dark as the standard 20 kilohertz. When you change frequency higher like that, the laser fires more pulses faster, but they're less powerful pulses. So the slower pulses with more power actually produced a better engraving just by a touch. But as you can see also, still no banding on that, okay? Then I switched it up to the glass tube just for the heck of it, with no settings testing. Running it too fast, 1000 millimeters per second. You can see some spots where it didn't quite get the engraving in that detail. This is just another test just for the heck of it. Then we did this one. We turned 80 kilohertz on the frequency, and I upped the power to 85%. That's 1000 millimeters per second, 85% power with an 80 frequency and 500 lines per inch. Again, that's a really clean engrave. No banding. I would put that right up against the original 65% power at the 20 kilohertz. Very similar. Then we did standard 20 hertz, 30% power. The first pass didn't get through the leatherette at all. This is 0.08 line interval as well, so a higher line interval. I ran a second pass on this one, and you can kind of see that banding start to show. One, we're not getting through the leatherette all the way. That could have had one more pass, but I just wanted, this is all just trial and error. Okay. Then we upped that power to 45% for this one. 0.08 line interval still running 1000 millimeters per second, still 20 hertz, the standard frequency. You can start to see a little bit of banding here and a little bit of banding here where it's not quite engraving the same. Okay. Down here, I did one with this is 1000 at 65 with the 0.08 line interval too, I believe. I think we had to do 2 passes on this one. No, sorry. This is 1065 at 0.08 line interval. Still nice. Not quite as detailed as the 0.05. And then this one I did 1000 millimeters per second, 65 power, 0.050 line interval. No, 0.8 line interval, sorry. So like 317 LPI. And I did a 2 millimeter defocus. So you start to see that banding again here, here, and here, where it's not quite engraving all the way, or it's engraving differently than, like, say, down here. And then, just to show you guys another sample here. This is my original setting, 1000 millimeters per second, 65% power, standard 20 hertz frequency, 0.050 line interval. So a little over 500 lines per inch here, okay? And that is, let me get it under the light a little better. Very clean, huge area engraving. Now remember, with Leatherette, you're engraving into foam underneath. So if it's not perfect, it's because of the material. Lone Star Leatherette is the best. This is the Heritage line. So this is the best Leatherette on the market. And that is a huge space of engraving. And I would say that's very, very clean. I do clean all of them with Dawn Power Wash. Just a little quick spray and a little microfiber. Rub it down. Gets all the soot off of there so that when you touch it, your thumb doesn't turn black. But I think this is what everyone's having an issue with. Guys, this RF tube really likes its lines per inch, okay? I know we want to run fast and we want to run less lines because less lines make it faster. But I'm telling you, for clean, crisp engravings, run that 1000 millimeters per second, run it at 65% power. You gotta up it a little bit for the white leatherette, the glow-in-the-dark leatherette, or the golf ball leatherette, or any of the UV printed ones. You're gonna have to add a little power, probably 5 to 10%. Here's one I did on golf ball leatherette earlier. My same settings. Okay, I upped the power to 70% on the golf ball. Clean. There we go. Clean engraving. Super fine detail. And acrylic. I see a lot of you guys having problems with the acrylic too. Having those banding in the acrylic. It's typical of an RF tube to have that. This acrylic, the core, you got to remember, this core is not perfect. It's not a perfect single color. So if you have a little bit of banding or a little bit of discoloration, that's the nature of the beast with this. But that is pretty smooth right there. Here, let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. That's 1000 millimeters per second. I run 60% power for the blue layer. One pass, 0.04 line intervals on acrylic, because you will see those little choppy lines with where the laser starts and stops on those angled or curved pieces on these acrylics. They show every little imperfection. On the red, I run 75% power and I run 2 passes to clean it up. The second pass is to get off any of this mid layer that you don't want that may or may not have gotten through. And it christens out the color. It makes that red really pop instead of be a dull color. You've got to run 2 passes on the third layer, on the main core of this tri-layer stuff. I've tried it every other way. I can get it to do 1 pass, but it's cleaner once you run that second pass. I promise you guys, you won't hate it. It takes a little bit longer, but the results are worth it in the end. You can even run 2 light passes on the top layer or the mid layer to get a nice clean engraving. But yeah, that's my settings for these guys, and I think you're gonna appreciate it once you use them. Take my word for it. This is all I do is acrylic, leatherette, and real leather. And I use the same settings on real leather as I do the leatherette. Here's a sheet of real veg tan leather, or a piece of veg tan leather. That was 1000 millimeters per second, 65% power, 0.050 lines. And it's clean and crisp and dark. And that is my how-to leatherette to leather TED Talk. Guys, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions about your machine or you have any issues that you're running across, I'm always here to help if the tech support's not available, or if you just want my personal knowledge on this. Also, if you guys want to pick up a laser, discount code will be in the description. SC Hatco, all caps, saves you another 3% off your next laser purchase. I've got a Hydra 9 100 watt with a 38 watt, and I've got the XRF desktop module in my mobile trailer. I love both of these machines. They support my business, and OneLaser's a great company to deal with. So if you have questions, reach out. Thanks.